streaming to YouTube. And I will tweet this out. I'll hit Discord. Sending. And what we'll do is I'm going to hit record. My countdown, hit record. We have a little music that plays. You probably won't hear it over Zoom, so it'll be quiet for a second. And then we'll come in and introduce you, and we'll just talk about whatever for a little while.
Okay.
All right, Jacob, we ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Just drop that ass, bitches, open micers in the house. Pop that pussy with that open micers logo in your mouth. Jason with his bald ass head, Jacob looking inbred. Open micers, bitch, heard what I said. Drop that ass, open micers in the house. Drop that ass, pop that pussy, open micers in the house. Open micers in the house, open micers is a mouse. Drop that ass, pop that pussy, open micers in the house. The mic is now open.
Welcome to the OpenMicersPodcast. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm Jacob Craig. You guys just enjoyed our brand new intro brought to us by Mr. Mark Simmons. Thank him again for doing that for us. And guys, we have a fucking top tier guest with us on this podcast for you today. He is the host of the Chubby Behemoth podcast. You have seen him appear on The Joe Rogan Experience, Are You Garbage, Kill Tony, Your Mom's House, and every other major podcast. He is the author of the best-selling novel Running the Light, which will soon be adapted into a major motion picture. He has performed on 4 out of the 7 continents on the planet Earth. He has headlined the Comedy Mothership Comedy Club, the best comedy club in the country. He's done stand-up for Comedy Central, True TV, as well as his very own special, Waiting for Death to Claim Us, available now on Amazon Prime. You all have a chance to see him at Side Splitters in Tampa Bay, Florida, October 26th through the 28th. Tickets available now at samtallent.com. It's Sam Tallent, everybody. How you doing, man?
Woo-hoo.
Jacob, what a lovely intro. Thank you so much. That was so kind. That intro was as good as Mark Simmons' intro song was. Bad. Simmons, you need to look yourself in the mirror and realize that you just committed audio crime. Do you guys do a raffle to your listeners for a new intro song every week? Is that what that happens?
Well, that's what we were trying to do, but we only got one entry.
Well,
yeah, so
way to show initiative, Simmons. Good on you for that. Way to step up to the plate. But I am reeling at how horrific it was. I don't think you look inbred at all, Jacob. I think you look like you come from strong stock. Jason,
thank you.
Bald, correct, but that doesn't define you. That's not all you are.
I mean,
it's a solid personality trait.
Yeah,
I feel like.
I mean, I like being bald, but that's just me.
Well, I know, but when I would list you, I wouldn't say bald man. I'd say Metroid fan, Pac-Man enthusiast, sits in front of a brick wall. All the things that I know about you before you're bald.
Metroid sexual.
There you go. See, Jacob's getting involved. He's having fun.
Yeah, Jacob looks like he's every week he comes to the show, and it looks like he's coming from a bombed-out shelter in the Ukraine. But it works for us.
Well, I think Jacob's getting enough calories. I don't think he's in a war-torn area. I think Jacob is.
No.
Yeah, you've had your meals today, have you not, Mr. Craig?
Oh yeah, dude. I just got done eating like way too much Hamburger Helper.
Jesus Christ.
If you could, I had to guess before the show, he was talking about the Hamburger Helper. If you could guess what Hamburger Helper he had, what would your guess be?
I mean, I don't want to sound like a debutante, but I don't know all of the flavor varietals of Hamburger Helper. If there's an Alfredo one, I would guess Alfredo for Jacob.
Pretty close.
First of all, don't lie to me, Mr. Sam Tallent. You know good and goddamn well every flavor of Hamburger Helper.
No. I don't eat like my parents just died, and I haven't called the coroner yet. I eat like an adult. I like vegetables. Most box things I try to avoid. I mean, I have a slut's tongue and the self-control of a boy left alone with a gourd that's been ripened and softened. But yeah, I don't know anything about Hamburger Helper's daily up. So what flavor was it?
Beef stroganoff.
Okay, so yeah, that if gun to my head, If I had to name one flavor, it would have been that. But I thought maybe they had some like advancements in hamburger help technology, and Alfredo might be available.
My guess was Beefy Mac because he looks like a Beefy Mac kind of guy.
He does.
Yeah.
I agree with Jason. Yes, Jacob. You look like a Beefy Mac kind of guy. Gotcha.
I actually played bass for Beefy Mac in high school.
Then we found your new Twitter handle, Beefy Mac.
That's good.
At Beefy Mac. Dude.
Yeah.
I need a Mac in my name. I need to change my last name to McDonald or something and just go by Beefy Mac.
You just go by Mac. Too bad we're not black comedians. You can just go by Mac Beefy.
Right. MC Beefy, baby.
I would buy an album by
Jason.
MC Beefy.
Jason, did you eat slop as well for dinner, or did you eat adult food?
I have not eaten dinner today. I had a turkey sandwich for lunch, and I have not eaten dinner.
I love a turkey sandwich. Might be the definitive sandwich for me. When I think sandwich, that's my platonic ideal. Turkey.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of turkey sandwich are you talking? Are you talking like a sub or like a good turkey with just mustard and mayonnaise, or like what are we talking here?
I mean, a turkey sub is a little too much. I'd like a Kaiser roll sandwich if I may. Maybe a potato bread would be solid. Depending on what time of day it is, if it's before noon, some butter on that bread with some turkey and a bunch of black pepper.
Black ketchup.
And then, I know I didn't say ketchup. I caught myself. I meant pepper. Everybody, chill out. All right, Discord, put your fucking keyboards down. But after noon, yeah, mayonnaise is necessary. It's just a matter of some kind of fat added to the turkey and then a shitload of black pepper.
What are your feelings on Miracle Whip?
Love it. All for it. What's the matter with it? I think people who are against it just do that because they think it's cool. They're the same people who say, like they can't wait for the day after Thanksgiving so they can have the Die Hard as a Christmas movie argument yet again.
I just think the first time I ever had Miracle Whip, I was at my grandma's house, and I thought it was actually mayonnaise, but it just it made my sandwich taste sour, and I haven't had it since.
Sour?
Yeah, it had a sour flavor to it. At least I thought.
It's a sweet treat. It's almost frosting for your sandwich.
I can't.
Sour. I think you just had like a jar of Dukes, because you were down there in the antebellum South, and you just got back in from a day of sharecropping, and you were like, ooh, Ocean Springs is wilting today, mama. And then you went to the fridge, and your grandparents didn't pay their bill, so you just got like rotten mayonnaise. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing happened.
That's probably more like the truth.
Yes. Jacob, you love Miracle Whip, no question necessary.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's quite a miracle, to be honest. It's named after.
All right. Strike one for Jacob. Otherwise, you've been doing great.
Sam, I have to ask you something, buddy, because so at the beginning of June, we had Mo Alexander on the program, dear friend of ours.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And he was telling us about working with you, and he told me to ask you about the term uppity Negro. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Talent?
So I had a couple scotches, and I decided to describe Mo perfectly, and that's what I said. No. So we did a show, and we found a bottle of wine in the green room freezer, the Uppity Negro brand wine, which was made by people in Parker, Colorado, which is the county next to where I grew up, and I have to assume 99.9% white. And we laughed. I think Mo's driver or partner or nurse, I can't remember who she was, but she received like a bunch of free merch from the venue because they were so just stricken with how tone deaf having Uppity Negro in the freezer was. But Mo had fun, and Mo was happy because he got paid. He got his guarantee, which is a big chocolate cake. So he was stoked. I love Mo. Mo's great. Have you guys heard the story about him at Go Bananas?
No, I don't think so.
I believe it's Go Bananas. This might be folklore, but I think it's true. Mo Alexander was doing a show at Go Bananas, and he like slipped on the way up to the stage, and Mo, enormous. He couldn't get up, so they just like he did an hour from his back or from his belly, and he killed, of course. Which that's not the surprise. I would love to see Mo prone and supine. But the big part of the story that makes me crackle is he also sold his merch from his back. So he's like upside down as people are coming to the stage, and he's signing them all of his things. Yeah, Mo's a legend and one of the worst people to have to follow in the history of comedy.
Oh,
he really
no
kills.
kidding. I would not want to follow Mo like ever.
Oh, I have. It's unpleasant. He shouldn't be featuring ever.
Even opening for him is tough because he's sitting there watching you just judging. Like, I'm about to do so much better than anything you're doing right now.
I think, young Jacob, that you're putting that on Mo. Mo is like he actually loves comedy. As much as he watches due to his need to be, he has to have a special proximity to the stage so he can make it up there in time. But also he just loves comedy and he watches comedy, and it's one of the most endearing things about him.
That's true. I will say that the biggest dopamine hit of the last month that I've gotten was Mo Alexander laughing at my material, like louder than anyone else in the room.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, he loves to laugh. He's just one of the good guys. Always stoked to run into Mo on the road. And also he like knows where all the bodies are buried for every bad like bonkers club in the American Southeast, so he can really talk shit.
Right. So you have no love for the bonkers clubs we got down here?
Oh, I don't know. That was just like my go-to punchline comedy club name that I could think of for down there. I thought bonkers clubs, I thought those were just like one-nighter rooms that were set up in casinos. I didn't know they were actual comedy clubs.
No, they are one-nighter rooms that are set up in casinos.
Okay, but there's
They
not like
call
a
themselves
freestanding
comedy
bonkers
clubs.
anywhere, is there?
No.
No, they're
Okay.
all inside of casinos. But that's
They're
all we
they're
got.
like a regional approximation of like a Tribble Run or like a Entertainment Max thing, right?
Yeah, basically. Like the people that are headlining there are like guys from New Orleans who like use credits that they don't actually have that are just very generalized. Like, CBS because they were on the local news or some shit.
Wow, Jacob, Kitty has claws, casting shade to the New Orleans comedy scene.
No, well, I mean, I'm just
Wow,
saying.
look how jealous you are over there in Biloxi.
Right. No, I have no room to talk. I don't even have bullshit credits. But
Yeah, unless you've headlined the Harpoon in Orange Beach, Alabama, you have no room to talk. All right, Jacob.
right. That sounds like a strip club. I don't even know what that is.
Unless you've been stiffed in Mobile by Ryan Jetton, you have no business to talk. All right.
Oh my gosh. Have you worked with Ryan Jetton in Mobile? I obviously you have because you just pulled that name out of nowhere.
No, Jacob, I just guessed both those names and locations. Yes, of course I have. Jeez, kid journalism here. Jacob Craig, everyone asking the hard-hitting questions.
Look, man. I don't think that guy even does comedy anymore, if it makes you feel better.
He has two names. That's not his real name. Isn't he have a stage name? Jason's eerily quiet right now. He doesn't want to get involved.
No,
I don't
yeah,
even
he
know.
definitely does. He quit comedy during COVID because he was one of those like crazy people. Because we did shows down here like the whole fucking time, and he was one of those people who are like, "Shame on you! You're killing everybody," and then just quit comedy.
Yeah, who's funny? There's Governor. He's down there. He's funny.
Yeah,
He
we
moved
know.
to
Alfred
Biloxi.
Ward. Is Alfred Ward still alive?
Yeah,
Lord.
he just featured for Caleb Sinan down here.
There you go. See? Yeah, I mean, I really like the Gulf Coast. I like Orange Beach a lot. I like Ocean Springs a lot. That whole area between, Pensacola is like my favorite secret place in America, but between Pensacola and New Orleans, there's a lot of great land down there.
Yeah, man. There's getting to be some better spots to do too. Like we still don't have any real major clubs, but I feel like we have some of the best bar shows in the country in like Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
Okay, what was his name? Brandon something. Real slow talking black guy. I think he's in the Navy. Brand Philly?
Yeah, dude. Brandon Philly. So
Don't say rapist.
no, but
Okay.
I will say that my very first time ever getting a spot, it was my first time ever doing comedy, and I was like booked to do a show. and Brandon Philly was supposed to like headline it or whatever, and he didn't show up, and I took his spot, and then he just like
Damn.
moved away, and I don't think he does comedy anymore.
So you owe him everything. You owe
I
him
owe him
your career. Yeah.
Yeah, I live in the shadow of Brandon Philly.
We all do, man. I love Brandon. He ran a very bad show in Ocean Springs. He was outside, and there was like some like very drunk man, and he just came on stage and sat down on this bench while I was performing, and I just had to do crowd work with this man who'd like, you know, I don't think he understood that he was outside even. He was like 3 sheets. So, but yeah, I mean, he paid well. He's a nice guy.
Where was this show at?
Was it at the Juke Joint?
Yeah, the Juke Joint.
Hell yeah, dude. That's still like the comedy spot down here, but it's actually
Nice,
like
man.
it's gotten like way better. It's actually like a really dedicated spot. That's where Mo just came. Like he fucking loves this place. Like
Where's the Blind Mule? Is that Hattiesburg or Mobile?
it was Mobile.
Yeah.
They don't do comedy there anymore, dude.
Damn.
Yeah, the
curse
owners just
of
decided.
Jin.
Right. After fucking Hannibal Buress dropped by there, Killer Bees is done there.
Love Killer Bees.
They had just decided to stop doing comedy, and they had Judah Friedlander set up the fucking headline, and I was supposed to open for Judah Friedlander, and then they just stopped doing comedy. I was so fucking mad.
That's disappointing. What's the name of the place in Hattiesburg? Shit.
They have SoPro, Southern Prohibition, up there right now.
Shit. I don't know.
There
Anyway,
Yeah, I know the
not
group.
enough love for one of the worst shows I ever did was in Mississippi. I think it was Meridian, Mississippi.
Oh yeah, Meridian's awful.
Yeah. Fuck. It was in this giant theater. And I did it the year before, and I did it in like the bar area attached to the theater, and it was packed. And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna move into the theater next time." And I was like, "Don't do that. Just because there's 50 people here doesn't mean you guys should move into the 600-person room next door." And next time I did it, we did the theater, and I think it sat 600, and there was maybe 15 people there, and they didn't make them sit in one designated area. They like sat in the different one. 4 people sat on the balcony, 2 sat in the way back. And the host had never done stand-up before, so he's like, "I'll do 15," and I'm like, "Oh, good." And he goes up, he does 3 minutes, and then the feature had like barely done stand-up and was supposed to do like 25 and did 7 or something. So I remember I had to fill an hour and 20 minutes worth of comedy for 15 people, and by the end of it, I was guessing people's birthdays. I mean, I was just desperate for any kind of human connection. Because if we didn't do the whole 90-minute show, we wouldn't have gotten paid, and it would have been better to give the $90 back or whatever. But
I've never done comedy in Meridian, but I have played their music there before. We were booked to play. I don't even remember the name of the bar, but I'm pretty sure the night we played was neo-Nazi night, and we thought we were gonna die.
well, I mean, was this before or after you lost all your hair?
Oh, it was.
I was about to say.
It was after. So
Okay.
You fit in.
You were safe.
I think they thought I was one of them, but definitely not.
Right.
Mississippi.
Dude,
man. My grandfather's from Como.
Oh, really? That's
right.
north, isn't it?
That's right. Sorry, I cut you off, Jacob. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna relate to your theater story. I had done a gig in Anniston, Alabama, at probably the worst comedy club in the entire country, and we were doing a Friday and a Saturday. And on the Friday, people showed up to buy tickets, and they were turning them around. They said, "Come back tomorrow because we're gonna have the comedians and drag queens here."
Okay.
So they're telling people to not buy tickets to the show. So there's no one at the show that's bought tickets.
Oh, boy.
So we have to do our show for the bar staff so that the owner of the club doesn't have an excuse to not pay us for both days.
Jesus. Yeah. I mean, you have to do what you have to do to get the money, but I bet the bar staff was probably polite. Did they have a nice time?
So one person did. Like one waitress had a very good time. She was like, "Oh, these guys are actually funny." And everyone else was just like, "This is every Friday for us. I'm fucking tired of this."
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. Like at the end of it, the owner's like brother or something had a conversation with him. Was like, "I can't keep fucking doing this, dude. I can't because he's like borrowing money from him to keep the club open and shit.
Yeah, it's always fun when you see the interpersonal, the familial conflict live immediately after you get paid. It's even worse if it's right before you get paid, because then you like feel bad and you're like, oh, maybe we should give him some of this back. Oh man, those days of empathy.
It was well before we got paid. He paid us at the end of Saturday. So we're just like ready to walk to our hotel room. And he's like, having an argument with these people. And we're like, oh, fuck, dude. Is there any money to be paid for us?
I'm glad you survived.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm not out of the woods yet. I'm fucking still working, Bubba.
Good. Yeah. I mean, that's all we can do is keep working, keep our head down, keep trying.
I'm glad you're out of those times, Sam, but I want to talk a little bit about some of your bad times, because I want to know about the open mic comedy scene in Denver when you were hosting it, and I want to know about the room that you hosted at the Squire Lounge in Denver.
Oh yeah. When I started in like 2006 or 7, there was Lion's Lair, there was the Squire, and then there was the Redfish Brewery in Boulder. There was like 3 or 4 mics in like the entire Boulder, Denver metro area. And
Nice.
I started at the Redfish in Boulder was the first place I went up because they were not 21 plus. And then I started going up at the Lion's Lair because they would let me wait outside until I went on, and then I would go on stage. And I'd leave immediately because I was under 21. And then I ended up running the Lair. The Lair's still going. I think it's been going for over 20 years with different hosts. I hosted the Lair for like 7 years, and then the Squire Lounge was like the cool guy mic. He was on Tuesday nights, started at like midnight, and it was like a real hip place. A lot of black T-shirts, eyeliner, leather, just like very like cool, young, artistic. At least like put on airs of artistic merit, like a crowd. It was like the ultimate hipster spot in Denver. And on Tuesday nights, I used to have this gig where I was like 5th mic on this thing called Marijuana Radio, which was in Denver. And it was like one of the first podcasts, and it did huge numbers early on because it was competing against like 3 other things that called themselves podcasts. So I would go and do Marijuana Radio, and they didn't pay us, but we would just smoke like all the weed possible and eat a bunch of edibles and get, very dangerously stoned. And then I didn't have it in me to go to the Squire afterward because I was just like so torn out the frame. So I eventually started going to the Squire when I was like 20, 21. And I thought it was just this like popularity contest where only cool guys would win the Squire bar tab, and only cool guys got to go on because, it started at midnight and last call in Denver's 2. So it only had like a 90-minute window of like actual comedy. And, fucking Josh Blue would go up, Ben Roy, Chuck Roy, John Novosad, Troy Walker, Adam Caton Holland, like all these comics who to this day have very good careers. And if you got up before 1 a.m., like that meant that the host, Greg Baumauer, thought you were funny. And if you got up afterward, it was just like, okay, we're going to throw you to the wolves. And Greg was like notoriously mean. He would say awful, cruel things, like not even really funny, cruel, just like very like poignant and like, perceptive burns against you. But if he didn't like you, he wouldn't say anything about you, which was even worse. Like you knew that Greg liked you when he was like, oh, I can't wait to titty fuck Sam after the show. Like that meant that you were making progress there. But Greg got paid like $150 to host this mic because it was packed. And the Lion's Lair, me and my buddy Roger, we shared $25. Like we split $25 and we got free beer out of the whole thing. And we hosted that one from 10 to 2 a.m. every Monday. That was for like the love of the game. I mean, it was fun. A lot of kids started at the Lion's Lair. A lot of like comics who've gone on in Denver to have nice careers. They all started at the Lair. And then when I got handed the Squire, that was on Tuesday night. So like Monday, Tuesday, it was just, I was effectively the arbiter of comedy those 2 nights. And going from making like no money to getting the $150 that Greg got was life changing. And also a big honor because the Squire was the big mic in Denver. Like that was the place where you were officially like knighted or anointed as like legitimate comedian if you won the Squire bar tab. That was a rite of passage. So for him to hand it to me was like very much flattering, and I took a lot of pride in that. And I hosted that until I left for Las Vegas in 2016. But yeah, those were big nights, man. The Squire, like, I'm sorry, I'm just rattling on, but when I think about these things,
that's exactly
I
what
get
we
fired
want.
up. The Squire was nuts. Like when I started going there, there were billiards tables in there, and it was on Colfax Avenue, and Colfax is like allegedly the dangerous part of Denver. I think it's just like a place where, you know, there's active nightlife, you know, and not all that nightlife is white people. And Denver being historically like a very like racist place, it's like, oh, an old black guy in the corner, stay away from there after sundown. But there were like actual, like, there was pimps, there was open air drug deals at the bar at the Squire. I mean, I know a guy got hit in the head with a padlock and a sock.
Jeez.
After a show at the Squire. There were like stabbings. I saw guns pulled. Like, it was a very, very exciting place due to like the smell of danger in the air when I was, you know, 20, 21, 22. And then they totally like go around it. Then they totally like sold it off to or they like half sold it to a different place, a different owner of who owned like a variety of gay bars in town, and he totally cleaned it up, and it wasn't the same place when I took it over. But God, those early nights at the Squire were so exciting. There was girls there. Like if you were funny, like, you know, girls might talk to you. People would offer you cocaine. Like it was nuts, man. It was a good time.
And then after,
Dude,
what
it
was
definitely
it
sounds
like?
like a good room.
What was it like once you got to Vegas? I mean, what was the scene like between Denver and Vegas?
I mean, Denver pound for pound has been one of the best comedy scenes in America for, you know, at least since probably 2005. I mean, the Comedy Works before that even, I mean, we've produced nothing but killers. And then, you know, after those initial years, like my nascent period in Denver, eventually there was 2 mics a night, and most of them were good. You could get up at least at one good mic once a week or once a night in Denver. So to go from like this place where, like, you know, there were comedy nerds and there was people who were invested and, you know, great just like DIY shows and alt shows, as well as like the Comedy Works being one of the, if not the best club in the country, there is like a kind of like a carrot, like a reward. If you did good there, then you got passed to weekends and you got to open for, you know, Attell and Colin Quinn and like Maria Bamford, like all these really good comics. Being a Comedy Works comic was like a badge of honor. To go from that to Vegas, there was just like, it was very bleak, man. It was very hard. There was the kind of comedy that flourishes in Las Vegas is very uncreative. It's very base, very vulgar. And I did not necessarily want to get good at that kind of comedy. So I bombed a lot, and I was on the road a lot when I lived in Vegas. But like the open mics there were, there was the dive bar on Monday, which was a fun hang, but the show itself was a bloodbath. And then there were other shows that were like fun hangs, because there are funny people in Vegas and they're fun to hang out with. But as far as like the stage time, Vegas in particular, like every bar has video poker at the bar. So if people do come to watch the show, if there are people who are insane enough to come to an open mic, in order for them to order a drink, they have to get through the armor of people who are just like lined up at the bar playing video poker, who have no idea. They're just, you know, addicted to gambling, and they just keep pumping their dollars in so they get their free rum and cokes. So yeah, it was very bad, dude. I don't think it's at all.
So why did you move from Denver to Las Vegas? What was the reason for that?
Oh, my wife got into med school there. So it was her first 2 years of med school. We're in Las Vegas. So we got married in 2016 in June, and then like I think July, like a week later, we moved to Vegas. And yeah, I mean, I would never wish living in Vegas on anyone, man. It's just like a vapid, empty, cultureless place.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
I say that as someone who, like, I have friends there, and like, you know, I enjoy, just like anyone, I like going to Vegas for 3 days. That's fun. I'm glad it exists. It's a very American place. You can just be like a hardworking dude and go there and spend as much money as you can, and they'll treat you like a prince for it. And I like that. But living there was just really fucking tough, especially because my wife was so busy with med school, and it's 110 degrees outside. Like, you're just trapped in your house.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like the ideal place for comedy. Like, I feel like the big comedians that go to Vegas just kind of have their own residencies, and they're just like, all right, I'm here for these this weekend, and then I'm gone.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's good clubs there. That's all valid and stuff. And if you're fucking Carrot Top, like, yeah, your life is solid. But if you're just like if you're just a comedian, like, I don't know if there's a worse place in America to learn how to do stand up than Las Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, probably not. I mean, it sounded very similar to the South a little bit when you talk about the kind of comedy that they do there, because it's like down here, if you do a joke where that makes someone have to think, they're just like, ah, God, I'm not following
I
this.
don't know. I mean, clearly you know it better than me, but I know a lot of like very smart comics who've come from the South. And also like you live so close to so many cities in the South that I feel like to try and like I don't know, throw a blanket over the entire region. As far as like me being a carpetbagger from out west, I really much enjoy going to the South, like Chattanooga. I love Atlanta. I love Charleston, Savannah, Pensacola, New Orleans. I've had fun in Tuscaloosa. I mean, sure, sometimes you have to like dumb down the jokes and up the swearing, but I don't know, dude. I've definitely like met a lot of very civically minded people in the South. Like the people who I know who are the most involved in like their local politics are always Southern because you guys, I don't know. A lot of the young people I meet down there seem to bear this like guilty cross and they want to do everything they can to kind of like potentiate change. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. I think the South might be my favorite place to do stand-up, honestly. Except for like on Saturdays during college football season. That's a nightmare.
Oh yeah, I mean, college football is king here in the South. Like you're not gonna be able to compete with that.
No, I know. I've made the mistake of, trying to do Tuscaloosa on a Saturday. It's bad. I mean, it's not just local to the South, but it's the most pronounced in the South.
Yeah, I used to host an open mic in Gulfport on Monday nights, and whenever Monday Night Football was on, it's like we might as well just cancel the show, dude. Like,
oh, for sure, yeah,
because we're not allowed to turn football off. There will be a riot.
Yeah.
So, where's your favorite place? Like, where do you think the comedy is boiling right now? Because down here along the coast, it's Lafayette is doing really well, and do you go to Austin a lot? What do you think about the Austin scene?
Well, like what Jason's done in Lafayette is pretty sick. I mean, stop me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he is the sole reason that Lafayette has become a stop. To the point where I think people do Lafayette more than they do New Orleans now. Like once you leave Houston, it's like Lafayette's a much better stop. I mean, God bless New Orleans. New Orleans is my favorite place in America. And back in the day, it used to be a pretty good comedy scene. There was a lot of stage time. It seemed like those mics were like fairly well attended. And also there was a lot of very funny people there that you kind of would like, be able to watch and learn from. So I used to tell people to move to New Orleans. If they're like, hey, I don't want to move to New York or LA right now. Where should I move before I move somewhere big? It's like, try New Orleans, Same way I would say like Chicago or something. But yeah, I like Austin. I mean, I've just been lucky to have been able to, I've been like, blessed by not just being passed at Creek in the Cave, but also like the mothership. So I very much like the stage time that I have there. And I don't know. I mean, I know that there's like a massive divide down there between the comics who've been there forever. Jay Wacott and Avery Moore, a lot of very comics who've been there, versus like the new giant influx who've come in, who kind of have this kind of, I don't know, idea of how comedy should be done. Because Austin, when I would go there, was always a really nice place where you could see a variety of comedy. And now I think that Austin is being dominated by kind of like a, I don't know, an unnecessarily edgy style of comedy that, I mean, I like silly comedy. I don't like comedy that takes itself seriously, I guess. I mean, I'm not an anti-edgy comedy. It's just like to take yourself seriously is a dangerous game as a comedian. And I think some people in Austin are taking themselves very seriously when they have barely 5 minutes of material. And, they think they should be like, headlining or featuring. And it's like, you've been doing stand-up for like 2.5 years. You should pump the brakes a little bit,
Yeah. So do you think that's
that's everyone everywhere?
Do you think that's maybe a backlash to social media over the last few years, like people getting canceled and stuff like that? Do you feel like that the edgy comedy is kind of a backlash to that?
No, I think that the people I'm talking about have like no danger of being canceled because they don't have anything. Like in order to be canceled, you have to like have something taken away from you. And I'm talking about like young comedians who think that they're Bill Hicks because they say slurs, and it's like just like learn how to paint the landscape before you think you're Jackson Pollock. That's always been my idea of comedy. Is like learn how to do it before you try and reinvent it, or but yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's been pretty much like I think it's been like pretty fairly well like demonstrated that cancellation like isn't a thing. People who've historically been canceled like have at most points. I mean, your classic examples of Shane Gillis and Louis C.K. They've been galvanized. Shane was always like incredibly funny, but I think that his quote unquote cancellation put a lot of eyes on him, and it allowed a lot of people who enjoy a good stand-up to find him. I don't know if Shane is canceled. I don't know if he isn't canceled. I don't know if he becomes the theater act he is now. I think the whole cancellation thing is just part of a greater culture war that doesn't really exist, that keeps us from like loving our neighbors and realizing who the enemies are.
Yeah, I don't know if Shane becomes the sort of cultural phenomenon with the giant YouTube special if he gets on SNL for a year before they fire him. Like,
yeah. Or I mean, maybe he becomes Adam Sandler. Who knows? Like, that SNL can go either way for people.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's happening everywhere. I just think it's the loudest in Austin because I mean, there's so many people that are like, screaming about like, oh, I'm being gatekept from getting into this and this in Austin, and then it's like, I mean, you have open micers on every scene that just like show up, say something racist, and they're like, book me for the next showcase. I'm next in comedy.
Yeah, I don't think that the thing I'm describing is unique to Austin. I think it's just more like dense there. I think that there's more of a propensity of it to because there's a bit of an echo chamber. What you just described usually in most scenes will usually have like the four comics who wear trench coats and fingerless gloves, and they get together and they do like the slur show. But in Austin, there's just like there's a lot more comics there. Of every ilk and variety, and if you have more people to reiterate the things you're saying, I think that you become more fully and firmly entrenched in that belief system. The thing about Austin, though, is like there seems to be like a clear, like the mothership is Rogan's Castle, and if you can get in there, there's the possibility that you can be, or at least the idea that you can be like have your career made overnight. As opposed to, I don't know if that really exists anywhere else in America. I mean, what's the big thing in Chicago? Like getting past the Laugh Factory? Like, I don't think that holds as much prestige at all. I mean, like there are successful comedians who don't give two shits about getting past at the Comedy Store. I know a lot of the comics in New York don't really care about the Cellar. Or comics who do get past the Cellar, and they're like, oh, it doesn't matter, like nothing has changed for me. So I think that that's like kind of the outlier about Austin is you have like that like fucking crystal castle that is the mothership.
Yeah, I mean the mothership just kind of really created another city that's a hot spot for comedy, like a major hot spot, to where it's like it's not just like New York, LA, Chicago, Denver. It's like, okay, Austin is like where all of the hack open micers in the South are going to go because they think they're going to get famous now.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, a lot of, I think that to be a young comedian, you're going to be hack, when you are like a young open micer. But I think that, yeah, like a moth to the flame situation, there's just a lot of comics who think, because like the big part about being a comedian, especially early on, is you like have to be delusional. You have to keep lying to yourself about like it's gonna work out. I am funny. Like the people at the open mic are crazy. But when that delusion doesn't go away and you can't really like take an honest assessment of where you're at after 3 to 5 years, That's the insane people who go to Austin and pitch tents behind Kill Tony.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the amount of bad open micers who have actually like gotten success from doing a bad minute on Kill Tony is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure we can all like name names of people who we don't think are legitimate or unworthy of what they've been given, but it's like you can talk shit, and that's very easy. But then there is the example of I'm glad that William Montgomery got shine from that. William's a singular, weird, unique voice who started in Denver, and I've been a fan of his and a champion of his. So like, for as many like issues there are with Kill Tony, the people who watch that show are like I did Rogan, then I did Kill Tony, dude. The Kill Tony fans are the shit. Like they love stand up, and they love watching those people grow. So when like a Kill Tony fan shows up at a show, like I saw you on Kill Tony, you kind of know like, okay, this person is a fan of comedy, and it's good. I know you weren't indicting Kill Tony. It's just like I don't know why, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to vent frustrations on you. I'm enjoying myself with y'all, but I've been asked about Kill Tony like 4 times in the last week, and it's like, it's good. I think it's a valuable thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and I think that, hey, if comedy crowds are dumb enough to like, allow some guy who had a fucking overnight phenomenon and Kill Tony, if they want to like buy that ticket, that sucks because maybe they don't buy any more tickets after that. But that's kind of on them for like having truly terrible taste. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Kill Tony's such a huge deal because he just, he dropped that teaser today about doing the HEB Arena. Like, I mean, it's genuinely one of the biggest podcasts in the entire world. I think that like, and I know people personally who have done this, who have just uprooted their entire fucking lives and moved to Austin with not a good 5 minutes of material to try to get on Kill Tony for a minute and bomb and then like be a road comic. Like I've seen it happen. Like nothing on Kill Tony, but like there are people that are genuinely insane that want to build a whole career off of getting roasted by Tony Hinchcliffe.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I didn't know how big of a deal it was until I did it because I never like watched it, but man, it is a phenomenon, dude. It is wild.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you have something so unique. Like no other podcast in the entire world does. Well, there's a lot of copycats, but like, no one else does what Kill Tony does. Like he's genuinely like launched people's careers. I mean, Hans Kim is headlining fucking everywhere and selling out. Like it's crazy, man.
Yes, it is crazy. Yes. I agree that parts of what you just said are crazy. Yes.
Sam doesn't want to talk about Kill Tony anymore, so I'm going to ask him a different question.
No. I'm just saying that some of the things you said are indeed insane.
I think I know which things, but I'm not going to.
I'm not having some kind of attack. I'm not nodding. I'm definitely not nodding.
Oh, Sam, before we get you out of here, my man, we've got a few minutes left. I want to talk about your book, dude, because I mean, it's genuinely, one of the best comedy, and I don't even know if I've ever seen like a comedy novel like this. I mean, it's a bestseller. It's getting turned into a movie. What's different writing a comedy novel than it is like your regular stand-up set?
Probably like I'm not good at writing for the stage. I just like try and improvise, and if you have an idea, you just keep attacking it over and over again. So I think like they're completely separate things. I've never been a good like joke writer unless it's a roast or something, and then I can step up and be mean to my friends. But like writing, I don't know. I like writing fiction. I don't necessarily enjoy writing jokes. I enjoy like finding out what's funny organically, I think. And I mean, of course, it sounds pretentious and everything. It's just like when I watch open like one-liner comics, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I wish I could do that. So it's grass is greener. But I guess I truly only know how to like. The only thing I would claim any kind of like proficiency at is writing fiction. I would never claim to be like a good joke writer. And it's just like sitting down, you're at the computer, you don't know if it's good or bad. You know, if you write a joke, you can go tell it and find out if it's good or bad and iterate upon it. But like, you don't know if something that you wrote at your computer is good until much later when people read it. And you have to have this like weird confidence that feels unjustified. But I really enjoy writing fiction for sure. I get to the point where I'm like, if I had to choose one or the other, I don't know, dude. I really like writing. I really like that. But of course, if I quit stand up, I would lose my fucking mind and I would miss it immediately. So I don't think I could ever like actually sincerely say that I would choose writing over I would choose stand up, because that would just be a lie, I think.
Right. Yeah, I feel like the payoff's definitely different. Like the payoff for stand up is like immediate, like, okay, this works and this doesn't. And then like acting or writing or anything like that, where it's just kind of being recorded for later. I mean, even podcasting in a way, it's like, is this fucking funny? Like, is this good? And then you have to put it out for feedback.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, I think that's very insightful and very true. Yeah, I guess I never think about it with podcasts, because I feel like if anyone's going to listen to your podcast, they like you already. So hopefully they'll like give you the benefit of the doubt and like give you a little more leeway to like figure out what's funny. But I've also never hosted a podcast that had a theme or anything. So I think what you guys are doing is probably like smarter long term, you know, like having a definite thing you're going to talk about every time.
Yeah,
well, to be fair, Sam, we just now kind of started doing that despite the name. Like every episode before this one, we were just like, hey, man, when was the last time you shit your pants? You think you could fight a bear? And then this time we're like, let's talk about open mic shit, because we want to actually have listeners.
I get that. Yeah, I think that if you can find the niche, especially because like young comedians love, I loved the fucking, you know, ins and outs, the minutia of stand up. And then I think you keep doing it for a while and you're like, the last thing I would ever want to talk about is stand up, you know? I mean, this is fun. And when you get with your friends and you can kind of complain, but God, you know, there's like, I don't know. Sometimes I meet up with comics and like all they want to talk about is how they're bearing this cross of like, yeah, it's just like, we're on the road. People don't get it. And it's like, dude, I mean, God bless you, but you slept 22 hours yesterday. I mean, you're not a fucking, you know, philosopher king. So anyway.
Right. Yeah, I feel like a lot of comics like reminiscing as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's a sentimentality. There's a rose-colored lenses to it. Yeah. Because I mean, if you are an open micer listening, like the best time you're gonna have in stand-up is the first 3 years you do it. That's when it's exciting. You're like doing this really hard thing. You're figuring out how to do this hard thing. You're meeting other people. You're being exposed to all these like wild ideas. You're having late nights. You're just meeting freaks. You're meeting mutants. Like I loved those first 3 years of open mics. It was such every night was so exciting, and I think that kind of wanes, or at least you go numb to it after a while.
Yeah. Or you just get better at comedy if you're doing it right. I feel like as you get better at comedy, it's like your eyes kind of, you know, start squinting a little bit. You're just like, all right, I'm going to show up, be good at comedy, and then go back to my hotel.
Yeah, you do. But that kind of like myopic situation, like, you know, like that's why I like Mo, like talking about him again, like he watches stand up. I fucking never watch anyone's set, you know. I just pace in the back of the room or in the green room. Just, you know, having nothing but doubts. Yeah, I mean, it is easy to romanticize those early years because it was just lovely. It was just like you were finding a new drug. It was all the trite, hacky, cliche things people say about stand-up are very true in those first 3 years.
And the thing with Mo is he's so relaxed all the time. Like during Jacob's set, like waiting for him to go on stage, Jacob's up there doing his set. Mo's just sitting there just grinding through some wings, you know.
He was grinding through them wings, dude. I could hear it on stage. I could hear him chewing on stage.
Oh, that's terrible, dude.
After it. But dude, Mo has to be relaxed all the time so he doesn't have another pulmonary embolism. Like that's just what he has to do.
See, I keep trying. I keep trying. Every time Mo comes to town, I keep trying to take him to this. You've been to Ocean Springs, so do you know Pleasant's Barbecue?
Me, I do not know.
Okay, so it's this place called Pleasant's Barbecue and Used Tires. You can go there. You can get some used tires put on your car and have some barbecue while you wait.
Wow.
I personally,
Finally.
I personally enjoy the barbecue there. Jacob does not, but I don't know.
Look, and I'll tell you why. Because it's the kind of people that go to this place are the kinds of people who buy used tires.
Yeah.
So if you're if you're buying used tires, they make the kind of barbecue for people that enjoy buying used tires.
Hey, some of us are just thrifty.
Idea.
Okay, some of us are thrifty, and we like to get a few more miles out of our tires. All right.
I feel like I've walked into some kind of blood feud between the two of you right now. This tire debate has been going on for since words began.
No. Dude, do you want to get into a fucking actual heated debate between me and Jason? Like, can you try to help us settle it?
Sure.
Okay. I feel like you're going to be on my side because you are also a very large gentleman, as myself. Jason is of the belief.
What a nasty way to try and get me on your side.
You're not doing well there, Jacob. To start off, just saying.
I'm just saying. Big guys know what's up. All right, I'm just saying. So Jason is of the belief that even if you're sick, even if you have fucking food poisoning or the flu or whatever, or even if you just eat some bad gas station food, it is never normal to just shit your pants. And I believe that accidents happen, and sometimes you just fuck up and shit your pants sometimes.
No, I've never said that. I said it if you're sick.
No, shut your fucking
or if you have
mouth.
Food poisoning.
The question has been
I can
asked.
understand it, but you shit your pants. You're just be standing there and you fart and you're like,
yeah,
I think I just shit my pants.
No, it's never think. I fucking know what I did. I'm aware of the mistake I just made.
Jacob, just the fact that you assumed that I would be pro randomly shitting your pants has really colored my perception of what side I want to be on this.
And let me give you a little
argument.
backstory here. Jacob was the host of the Juke Joint open mic for about 6 months or so, Jacob?
Yeah, around a year, I think, yeah.
There was a 3-week stint where Jacob shit his pants before the show. 3 weeks in a row.
At different times. To be fair, it's at different times. It's not like the set time. Well, 3 Tuesdays in a row, I shit my pants. Okay?
One time was right before the set. He shit his pants.
It was right before I was supposed to go on stage, yes.
I mean, are you doing this for some kind of attention, Jacob? Is this what's happening?
I mean, maybe subliminally, but I don't know. I was really stressed at the time. One time I shit my pants before going to work at my day job. I shit my pants before hosting the open mic. I shit my pants in bed with my fiance.
Yeah, buddy, this is a medical. This is an issue. This is not normal human behavior.
He doesn't eat
but
vegetables.
People normally shit their pants sometimes.
I think, people who are very sick and infirm, people who have beds that have machines inside of them so they don't get blood clots. I think you get once a year is totally normal. Maybe twice a year if you're playing it real fast and loose, but
that's fine.
Dude, no, I'm Team Jason on this. It's not the rate that you are filling your undies is not typical.
To be fair, I've been accident free for a few months.
That's huge, man. It's all about day by day. You know,
yeah, dude.
He's trying to get better every day.
One day at a time. When was the last time you shit your pants, Sam?
I shit the bed in Australia last May.
Okay, so you should be on my side then, because it's been this year.
So last May in normal human speak means last year in May.
Okay.
Which is 13 months in the past.
Okay.
So me and Jason will both wait for you to apologize.
I apologize to Sam Tallent. I will never apologize to Jason Robbins about fucking anything.
I drank a million beers one night in Melbourne, Australia, and then I ate their equivalent of Burger King, which is called Hungry Jack's.
Oh,
and then I woke up afloat in just a pond of my own diuretic.
Oh.
It was between my shoulder blades, behind my ears. It was truly one of the lowest points in my life. I had to take all the bedding off this bed and put it in a pillowcase, and then just like walk out, like fucking burglar style with the most soiled shit in a pillowcase. And then I had to sleep in an empty, like a fucking naked bed for 4 days because that was day one of my time in Melbourne. No, I treated my body like in a very negative way, and my body responded appropriately.
I feel like that's the worst time to shit your pants, is sleeping in a bed that's not yours.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it was a hotel room. It wasn't a guest room. But then the next day I had the worst hangover ever because I realized that I was like 24 hours away from anyone who gave a shit about me. So I just felt so alone, and also I had almost drowned in my own shit. It was tough all around, fellas.
Well, Sam, I'm glad you're
and
still
Jacob,
here.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't live in a glass house. You know what I mean? Like, I've definitely dumped.
But here's the difference.
You don't throw shit in glass houses.
The difference is, the difference is I asked Sam when the last time he shit his pants was, and he knows, and he gives me a story. If I ask Jason, he's just like, I've never shit my pants. I'm a grown person. Like, dude, everyone has shit their pants.
Last time I shit my pants, I had dysentery in like 2003.
Okay, dude.
Yeah.
That's the most I've ever gotten out of you. That's the most you have given me on this subject.
That's 20 years ago. That's a good ratio.
Yeah. 2 decades of not shitting my pants because I'm an adult man.
As your faculties fail, Jason, and they will soon.
I'm sure they will. And you're young enough that you're going to have to take care of me when I get old.
Well, Jason, let me ask you this. How close to the sun are you flying? Because I feel like Jacob and I definitely roll the dice a lot more than you have.
But see, I tend to eat a lot healthier than Jacob. Like, I tried to get Jacob to eat vegetables. We actually did a Patreon video where I cooked him dinner. And it was sausage and peppers.
I forgot about this.
Wow. I made him some roasted Brussels sprouts. He almost vomited.
Delicious.
He almost vomited from a Brussels sprout.
I did,
Why? Jacob, you're the one who's wrong. Explain yourself.
So at the time we were doing these Patreon videos where we're just like, we'll do something fucking crazy if we have this amount on Patreon.
Brussels sprouts? That's crazy.
So the ones before, the first one was me getting tased, which was fine. The second one we ate Hot Ones hot sauce. That was like 3 million Scoville.
The Apollo sauce.
And then we did Jacob Eats Vegetables. And that was the hardest one for me. I almost threw up trying to eat a Brussels sprout. It tasted like a fucking testicle, dude. I wasn't doing it.
Jason, how did you prepare these Brussels sprouts?
I cut them in half. I washed them, cut them in half, and then I took a sheet pan, put some and I put some olive oil down. And then
classic roasted.
Yeah. Yep. I put a little olive oil, drizzled some olive oil on the top of them, and I just sprinkled some salt and pepper, and that was it. And I roasted them for about 15, 20 minutes, and they were good to go.
It tasted like a salty ball sack, dude.
Wow, Jacob. I mean, how old are you, Jacob?
I'm 23.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, fine. All right, yeah. You can still be, the baby from Dinosaurs. You're fine. You can not the mama. The Brussels sprouts. Yeah, you don't have to eat Brussels sprouts yet. You're fine. I can't say. I would love to chastise you and say what's wrong with you, or did you drown for a couple minutes when you were a kid and no one told you?
Jacob
I did.
Also
I did do that.
You did?
Yeah, dude. I drowned for a couple minutes when I was a kid and almost died. Yeah, dude. That actually fucking happened to me.
Oh no!
So you're fucking spot on, Sam. Like, you have me pegged.
And Jacob is a diabetic, and we had a taste testing on the show here last. Wasn't this Easter? It was the one before.
Don't fucking rat me out.
Jacob
to one of my comedy idols.
He ate an entire 16-ounce peanut butter. Was it the egg or the bunny? Which one was it?
It was the egg. It was a Reese's egg.
The Reese's egg.
16 ounces a pound. You domed a pound of Reese's egg.
Yeah, live on the podcast, dude. And I'm type 1 diabetic also.
Who was on the pod? Who are you trying to impress? The Easter Bunny?
It was she's a voice actress for Nintendo. She has the voice of Princess Rosalina and all the Mario stuff. And she's just like she's like a fucking Reese's aficionado. So we're like, all right, let's like taste test Reese's shit. And I ate a whole pound of Reese's. And my sugar was like 500 afterwards, yeah.
Was she impressed? Did everything go according to plan?
She was horrified, and I have not heard from her since.
Good God, Jacob.
Yeah, I think I ruined a relationship for my.
There was no relationship, pal. That wasn't your first date. All right, you weren't courting her by eating the pound egg. I'm sorry to break it to you.
So that was the second time she had done our pod, and I had met her in person, and like
she's a fan.
Yeah, she had taken business cards for me to hand out to some other guests at like a comic book convention.
And then you ruined it by munching the egg.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, dude.
I'm sorry, pal.
It's okay.
I mean, that's the issue. I was a young man once. I would do wild things because I thought it might make my guests super wet. So, you know. I'm glad you're trying. I'm glad you're living. Jason seems like he's a solid adult that you can learn from and emulate.
I'm trying. I'm really trying, but he doesn't make it easy.
I make your job very easy, Jason. Come on.
Are there any vegetables that you do like, Jacob?
Potatoes, onions, bell peppers. I fuck with those.
Yeah, but potato is probably the worst vegetable you can put in your body. Yeah,
it's not a vegetable. It's a tuber, Jacob. Nice try, buddy. All right.
I tried to get one in there.
Oh, it was Laura Faye Smith. It was the episode with Laura Faye Smith.
Yeah, Laura Faye Smith. She's a voice actress.
The Laura Faye Smith?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Big guest.
I can't believe that you did that in front of her. If you were a fan of her, you would know that her family was crushed by 1 pound Reese's egg.
Laura, if you're listening, we love you. Please don't hate me.
Laura, big fan. He's just a boy. He doesn't know any better. All right.
Sam, I will say that growing up in the public school system of South Mississippi, the lunch ladies counted our French fries as a vegetable. So,
wow, I think that might be common across these United States. That is sad. I mean, what about cabbage? You ever had cabbage? That's just a big Brussels sprout. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Broccoli makes you throw up.
Yeah. Oh, so I went through a phase once when I was like 16. I wanted to be an MMA fighter. And so I started like fucking munching down like broccoli and like carrots and shit. And then one day, like just my fucking neuroses, like OCD, whatever the fucking autism I have kicked in. It was just like, we cannot eat this. Our body's going to reject it forever.
You know what? God bless you, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. I want you to eat more vegetables. I need you because that's what your deal is, dude. The reason you have diarrhea and you're always moments away from fucking painting your undies is because you don't get enough fiber. Dude, oh my God, you had Hamburger Helper before this.
Yeah.
No one should have to eat that. There's not a war on. We're not facing an embargo. You have to not buy that stuff.
Sam, it's cheap. It's like $2, man.
I know, dude, but you don't need to get the Hamburger Helper. You just get hamburger, like lean hamburger, and then salt and pepper and like paprika and cumin, and then you eat it with, I don't know, some potatoes would be a step up from those fucking engineered noodles. Just get the packets out of your life, man.
Even if you just had like regular noodles, just go get some like whole wheat, rotini or something and cook with it. Like that would be 1,000 times better than Hamburger Helper. It's like, I guarantee you look on that box, there's no fiber in that. None.
No fiber, and there's 400 times the sodium you need.
Sam, the next time you do comedy in Mississippi, will you be willing to bully me into eating vegetables for a Patreon?
What are you talking about? I'm currently bullying. I mean, I don't think bullying works. I think you have some kind of like masochistic thing inside of you where you're like, bully me. Tell me to eat the onion. No, dude, just fucking eat them. I'll gladly I'll gladly come on your Patreon, but I'm not gonna get you hard by telling you to eat cauliflower.
Okay.
I'll teach you how to throw a frisbee. I'm sure you don't know how to do that.
Even if you went to like Taco Bell and got the $2 Fiesta veggie burrito, I mean, at least it's got beans and brown rice in it. That would be something somewhat fibrous.
Something happened here, and I can't hear Jason while he's speaking.
Oh no!
Nor can I hear you, Jacob.
Oh no! Uh-oh! Can you hear us now?
Something happened.
Can you hear
Something
us
must
now?
have come loose for you.
Yeah, I heard a little squeak in there a second ago. Uh-oh.
Something has happened here.
Oh no!
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jason, I can hear you again.
Oh, okay, good.
Hello, Jacob.
Hello.
Sorry.
Thank goodness. But here's where it all comes out, because Jason's talking about Taco Bell. This man eats Taco Bell at least once a week, dude. I mean, he's
not shitting his pants every
food.
fucking Tuesday, Jacob. You can't compare yourself.
Okay, but I'm 23. I have leeway. He's almost fucking 50.
Look at him. He looks great. You have type 1 diabetes and a fucking pantry full of Hamburger Helper. You're eating stunt chocolates in front of girls on your podcast, Jacob.
Look at me,
Please
Jacob.
don't hold yourself up as some like bastion and arbiter of good, clean living. Let the man have some Taco Bell.
I mean, look at me, Jacob. I'm 46 and I have the complexion of like a 12-year-old Greek boy. I mean, I look great.
Great, Jason.
Jason, I will say that you look like the best egg out of the dozen of eggs.
Correct. Yes. You're lucky that fucking Jacob isn't wasted and you don't accidentally put a bunch of self-tanner on your head because he'll try and eat you in front of some Disney princess.
Mr. Sam Tallent, on that note, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on our podcast, buddy.
Guys, thank you for having me. I had a very nice time with you guys.
And I want to tell everybody before we go, I mean, all the stuff you got going on, you can go find us stuff on YouTube. Definitely if you go to Spotify, listen to Waiting for Death to Claim Us, one of the funniest comedy albums you can go listen to right now. It's absolutely one of the best. It's ultimately listenable over and over again. So go check those out. Sam, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, follow me at Sam Tallent on Instagram and check samtallent.com for tour dates. I'll be, like you said, in Tampa in October. Yes. Thank you, guys.
Go to samtallent.com. That's talent with two L's. I mean, not two N's. Samtallent.com. It tells you all the tour dates all the way up to, wow, you got all the way up in December coming up. You got some tour dates coming up. Man, you're a busy man.
Drawing man. Oh, yeah. Nashville Zanies, December 17th, if you are a listener in the South.
Awesome. Jacob, what you got before we get out of here?
Oh, I just got booked for Stone versus Drunk versus Sober in Mobile. October 6th, I'm going to be on Team Drunk.
Sweet.
Is that Isaac Cozell?
No, it's Jason Leonard and Zeke Buchholz in Mobile.
Oh, okay. I thought Isaac and Jeff hosted that show.
I
apologize.
They do. I think they do host it, but it travels, so they're doing it in Mobile.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to get on that too. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to get on that show. I want to be the sober one because I could not do comedy stoned, and I've tried to do it drunk before. It's not good, so I'll have to do Team Sober.
Get on there. Tell him that Sam Tallent said you had to do it, Jason.
All right, I'll do that. I'll send the email tonight.
Okay.
I send him a clip of that.
But
yes,
if you want to email us at openmicerspodcast@gmail.com. Go to openmicers.com for our website. Linktree/openmicerspodcast takes you everywhere you need to go. And also join our Patreon at patreon.com/ompodcast. If you want to see us try to make Jacob eat vegetables again, we might do another video. So we'll see what happens. But we will see.
And actually, don't join their Patreon. Actually, join my Patreon. Patreon.com/ShelbyBehemoth. Do that instead.
Yeah, go do that. All right, well, that was a show, fellas. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
The VOD's gonna drop on YouTube this Wednesday. The show will be out this Wednesday. So thank you guys for watching. We will see you.